manner. You can just see where you are. It's so unique because you are in Limpopo. We want you to feel at home, not only to feel at home, but to be at home. That is why you are going to be welcomed. On behalf of our VC and principal, Prof. Makhalung, we are going to be welcomed by an extraordinary leader, collaborative, results-orientated leader. Yes, he is executive director for marketing and communication. And he is the one of our gender desk technical committee member. Can we welcome Mr. Homieswana to welcome you?
Now being set up. That results-oriented part is... Okay, what results do you want? You gotta declare. Reverend Dr. Rapagwana, and you know the gender desk in Limpopo has one of the most persuasive, very persuasive and abnormally patient. Abnormally. I wouldn't be patient like this. No, I just want to get out of here now. Finish. Advocate, is it Makema? Makema, okay. Or you hear where I'm taking you now? No, I'm not taking you there. But I had to verify, you see, so you can't start by upsetting the program director. You know, they'll just take the mic. So you got to get it right. There are. Is it possible to move this laptop? I'm going to look like an underprivileged child. You know, you can't even have a space to put your papers. Okay, you don't have a laptop to use, so you're underprivileged, but now you don't have a place to put your papers. Come on, you can't be that bad. So I have a long list of acknowledgement. I'm not going to say all protocol observed. By the way, don't ever say that. If you don't want to acknowledge people, just don't acknowledge them. Just say, ladies and gentlemen. Don't tell them, I know you're in there, you're important, but I'm not going to acknowledge you. Because then I'm going to think, oh, you didn't make time to find out who I was, right? So you don't say all protocol observed. You just say, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lady and a gentleman, and you'll be fine. So we have lots of universities here. But Colonel, just so I don't get arrested, I will acknowledge you by name. See, with SAPS, you got to be cool. You got to be cool with SAPS, eh? They are law enforcement. They are doing a very tough job in the country like ours, fighting crime internally, fighting crime, domestic violence. But they're also fighting crime from outside because our country has so many influx points that I don't know how you just enforce laws in the country. It's one of the toughest jobs that you have, Colonel. And I know you get the flack all the time as the South African Police Service, but people who just know what police stations are doing all over the country with their limitations, we appreciate you being here. And I know we can, Dr. Rapagwana can go out and use the knowledge of psychology and the knowledge of, but in the end, when laws are broken, we're going to blame you if people don't get arrested. And then we blame you even when they're released sometimes because we don't understand what role you actually play. So we appreciate you being here. Let me name all these universities so that we don't say one is above the other. University of Pretoria. Anybody from University of Pretoria here? There you go, there you go. I know they will show up all the time, and Hatfield guys show up every time. University of Nelson Mandela University, sorry, not University of Nelson Mandela. That will be, the Windy City. Is it windy or is it friendly? Windy. Oh, you're happy with windy? Yes. Yeah, you have something good out there. You have something good out there. Welcome. They traveled a long distance to be here. So, Northwest University, Vaal campus. These Vaal River people. Okay, you see, I wouldn't leave the Vaal River myself if I had it, but we welcome you anyway. Rhodes? After all, they are hosting the Grahamstown Festival, you know. Who would leave that? But they're joining online. We welcome you. Safako Mahatu, those are cousins at the University of Limpopo. Yeah, cousins from Garanga. Now they have issues out there, man. But they also have a school called Tim Mudisa, so they're cool. University of Stellenbosch, where are the Stellies here? There you go. There you go. Welcome. Yeah, I know you traveled a long way also to be here, man. Tshwane University of Technology, where are the guys from Hercules here? Right. Gee. Yeah, I know, that's Hercules in the house right there. So, okay, Forte. Listen to how quiet these people are. You can't cheer, come on, what's wrong with Alice people? Good Lord, okay. We welcome the University of Johannesburg. The people from Kingsway. Maybe you're from Diepkloof, I don't know. Where you're from? Pimville, I don't know. They occupy the whole city, you know, all sides. Beautiful, we appreciate you. Also, University of Pretoria, you had to emphasize Hatfield campus as well. Just in case we thought we mixing you up. Okay, they acknowledged here. University of the Free State. There you go, there you go, there you go. Yes, people. No, we appreciate the University of Free State. We appreciate the University of Western Cape. Where are the Belleville people? Online. Stellenbosch beat them to it, but they're here. We're fine. How about the witty ones? Witwatersrand. There you go. They are not going to be represented online, those. They are coming to you. They have the highway. University of Venda, our sisters and brothers from the Mapungubwe. Those are our Mapungubwe relatives. University of Zululand. The people from Mpangeni, man, they don't play. They are going to tell you they are here, and you will know, because they will greet you that way. KwaZulu-Natal. See, if Zululand is here, KwaZulu-Natal knows now. Is the province with a name and surname now. Set down, Zululand is here. But I'm sure they are joining us online. UKZN. We cannot be without. Vaal University of Technology. There you go. There you go. There you go. This, man, the Vaal, you can't. I don't have. Then we have Walter Sisulu. Wusu. That's why they call themselves. That's the first time I heard Wusu. I said, what? Walter Sisulu. They'll be joining us. We also have, I've acknowledged Northwest, right? I've acknowledged UNISA. There. I'm always jealous. The best building in South Africa, university-wise. It doesn't matter, the best location, the best views, and UNISA, pardon? And the oldest. Oh, happy 150th. They had to send the youthful, the youngest looking people on the occasion of 150th. We welcome you, and by the way, we acknowledge they're the biggest in terms of student population, so please pay tribute to UNISA. Salt Lake University. These people gave birth. No, they're here. The people from the big hole don't mess around. They don't mess around, man. Let me tell you this about the Salt Lake. You revived Kimberley. Kimberley was dead. Right? And after the university, even De Beers returned. I'm not joking. De Beers had shut down the office. When the university came, De Beers returned. And it's a beautiful university. That's what we need in this country. Universities where the people are. Universities in far-flung areas. We need 100 more universities, by the way. 100 more. And I'm not even exaggerating. So we appreciate universities like yours because you make it. Academia, good people, is a career. Don't ask me what you're teaching. Academia is a career. Studying is a career. So opening new universities will create new cities, and new cities will improve the qualities of life of South Africans. And problems that we are here to talk about, among other things, will diminish until they disappear. So thank you very much, Sol Plaatje. You are named after one of the legends of this continent. Legends of this continent, Sol Plaatje. If you don't know him, look him up. Youngest university even. University of Mpumalanga, that's another. You see, these ones are going to have second youngest in youngest. Last born syndrome. University of Mpumalanga, are they here? Online, exactly. Again, if I lived in Mpumalanga, maybe I wouldn't leave to go anywhere. It's a beautiful place. We welcome them. CPUT, Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Online, yeah. I thought they would. It's far there, man, far. Central University of Technology. Yeah. They're one of the best hotel schools, so they are not going to leave it and come here. You haven't been to the hotel school? They host the meanest lunches and out there in the quadrangle, man, and the students catering. So we welcome you, Central University. Durban University of Technology. I'm sure they will join us. And then, of course, we welcome the National Prosecuting Authority, the National AIDS Committee of South Africa, Anova Health, Gender Dynamics, Foundation for Professional Development, and I've already acknowledged South African Police Service. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Limpopo, the cradle of humankind, the real cradle of humankind. You are along the busiest route in Africa. N1 is the busiest route in Africa. So we welcome you to Limpopo. And as the University of Limpopo, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Mahlo Mohalong, we embrace the community of practitioners against gender-based violence on South African universities, which was created, as I'm reading here, as a response to the need of gender practitioners on South African campuses. 2020, one of the most depressing times in the history of humankind. That's when real heroes rise to the occasion. Because you took that time to think about the most vulnerable in our society. One thing that the lockdown did, it exposed the worst side about human, because people would have been living together, but not quite living together. So COVID shortened the distance by miles, and people were in each other's faces. But that's okay if you are in a very congenial family setup, but most families aren't congenial. And what happened? Gender-based violence just took on another form. It skyrocketed. And as always, it wasn't reported. It wasn't talked about because everybody was scared of dying. Everybody was scared of COVID. Now COVID is going to kill us. No, more people were still being killed by their partners. Women were still being killed by their partners. Women. I know there are men who say, yes, our wives and girlfriends beat us up. Yes. Maybe you are the unlucky one. Your girlfriend is always sharpening an okapi there and has got an AK-47 hanging in your bedroom. And yeah, she's the real Floyd Mayweather incarnate. But just like with the racial issue in South Africa, let's not kid ourselves, good people. Gender-based violence has a gender. It has a gender. And just like racial oppression, the funny thing about gender-based violence, like racial oppression, This is what they have in common. I don't think you've thought about it. They are perpetrated by a minority on the majority. Women are a majority. Yes, they are. Look at this room right now. So men, you are terribly outnumbered. You better behave. Women are a majority of the world population. So to have the minority perpetrate the injustice of gender-based violence on them is a worse injustice. And as SAPS will tell you, you can't police that, especially when it's perpetrated by people who know one another. Because by the time you know about it, a woman has been stabbed 27 times. There was no police officer who's going to come between a husband stabbing his wife 27 times. There's no police officer who's going to come between a student on a campus stabbing a fellow student. And it happens over and over. So for practitioners to come together is a very noble gesture. I don't think you realize how noble it is. So to really effect change, you need unity against the problem you are facing, right? You need to be united. But even more important than unity, you need organization. And it's the organizing part that's the hardest. Because to get people who are united, who share values, to organize themselves for power, for effectiveness, for influence, for impact is very difficult. So this community in my book might be the most important step that anybody who cares about fighting gender-based violence or any kind of violence will ever make. Because it will make sure that people who are out there facing similar issues, people who are out there fighting the same problem, for the first time have an opportunity to create a community. When you are a community, you are united in your action, united in your goals, united in your strategy, and you are able to share resources, exchange experiences, share lessons with one another, maybe tackle some problems jointly, then you are going to take this battle much, much further than it can be. There's no question that students at the university are now majority women as well. I think for the past 5 years, for the first time maybe 5 years ago, more girls registered at a university or higher education institutions than boys. Now that is a messed up arrangement because, not because it is wrong. After all, women are the majority. The reason is, and I'm not justifying violence here, violence is an act of the insecure. And yes, we must punish perpetrators. We must have restorative justice as much as possible. But most of all, we must know how to stop them from continuing to perpetrate the violence. And the way to do that is to understand what's behind it. And I'm going to close, and if you can just go and look up Dave Chappelle. I know he's not the most savory person if you're sensitive to strong language. But listen to Dave Chappelle's explanation of gender-based violence in the US. He has a very hilarious way and take on why. But the essence I'm making is gender-based violence is a much bigger and much more complex enterprise than we realize. It's not just about fighting the violence, it's about helping the insecure boys who are the perpetrators. Again, I'm saying there are exceptions, but if you take the exception to nullify the rule, then you don't know what you're doing. The exception confirms the rule. So if there's an exception, yes, it means the rule is valid because there is an exception to it. So don't take the exception and say, yeah, but boys are also being attacked, because you are taking away the focus from the real problem, which is happening on a large scale. And we can't civilize this nation. We can't reclaim Africa's position. We can't reclaim our place as Africa on the global world order if one of our distinguishing features is gender-based violence. We can't achieve, because what we are doing is we are taking the best players, the women. There's research all over the world to prove that companies that are run by women outperform those that are run by men. They outperform them on organization. They outperform them on sales growth. They outperform them on profitability. They outperform them on efficiency. And most of all, they outperform them on return on investment. Now, people, don't get so serious. You know why women will outperform men on efficiency and profitability and sales growth. Women are just more focused. No? You want to try a little experiment? This Friday afternoon, get 1,000 rand on the one side and 1,000 rand on the other. Find a man and give him 1,000. Find a woman and give her 1,000 rand. And call the man on a Saturday morning and ask him for 100 rand. And call the woman on Monday afternoon. She will still invite you for lunch and the children will be well fed. Right? And now you want to take that star player, that MVP, and you make him her secondary. You make her subservient. You make her know her place. You must know your place. Wapapa. Shut up. Women don't talk like that. Women are not supposed to say things like that. That's violence in its own way. Because it suppresses thought and sentiment. So if you suppress thought, you suppress imagination. If you suppress imagination, you suppress vision. If you suppress vision, you stifle mission. If you stifle any mission, you kill human progress. So I hope that this community will grow from strength to strength, as we say, and it will become the shining light that show that not only is South Africa capable of achieving on the sports fields, on the political, whatever, it is also able to achieve on the human front. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Khomeswana. Can all the Limpopians stand, and we are going to applaud and also receive the visitors? Can we all stand? Yes, that is Limpopo, University of Limpopo and University of Venda. Can you just check around and clap hands and welcome all the visitors. We are here. And also online. Those online, you are all welcome. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Mr. Khomeswana. We always do things in a special way. I'm going to be giving this opportunity now to our conference chairperson. We are here for community of practitioners against GBV. And for him, he's going to be telling us maybe why we are here now in June, why are we meeting again, and he is Mr. Rasibopye. Dukes, the stage is yours.
Good morning, everyone. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. I tend to enjoy challenges every now and then. So I was really hoping someone was going to give me 1,000 rand. Whether it's there or not the next day is besides the point. But the challenge was put on the table, Lovo. So I can say, Dr. Rapagwana, if the budget still allows, if una let just 1,000, they said one, just one, then please let's test the hypothesis. Good morning, everyone. I am Tumelo Rasabopie. I am from the University of Pretoria. I am a capacity building specialist in the transformation office there. And I'm very glad to be put in this position to be your conference chairperson. I think from a start, I'd like to thank everyone for being present at this conference. Without your meeting, all the resources that have been deployed to ensure that we gather for the manner and the purpose that we need to gather for would have been futile. So thank you very much for your attendance physically here, and those who are attending virtually online. We know data is not for free, and we know that institutions of higher learning, since COVID is not a priority, have stopped giving us data. So we appreciate that you are joining us even virtually at whichever cost it is. The effort to be part and parcel of this engagement is much appreciated. I would like to probably start by thanking a few people in particular. One, because one of them has threatened me to ensure that I acknowledge their efforts in us meeting during this week for the COP. I'll start with the COP's Secretary General. I think you could tell by starting there where the threat came from. But I think these the three groups of people, or three individuals that I will thank. It's simply because this conference is happening and was more feasible for most of us to attend and participate in because of the efforts that they've put towards making this conference happen. So Tapelo, you can stand and wave. Thank you very much for administrating. Don't be shy to continue emailing them around anything really. Anything really. If you wake up tomorrow morning and your one nostril is blocked, feel free to email. If you don't have the WhatsApp number, I have it. And we are willing to share that with you. Don't just WhatsApp, just in case Tapelo is asleep, call. So that Tapelo can remain on their toes for the duration of this conference and continue to serve us well. I would also like to thank the University of Venda, Advocate Makema, Prof. Mudau. Thank you very much from your institution, University of Venda, taking this opportunity by the horns and ensuring that you support as co-hosts in making this conference happen. University of Limpopo, Reverend Dr. Rapakwana, yourself, the gender desk, the technical committee in all its powers. We thank you very, very much for the work that you have done. You've really set a new standard with this conference in the level of excellence that you've really hosted us in. And this is only day one, yabo, and we're already thankful. You know, so Realaboa, thank you very much for having hosted us, and I think we look forward to the kind of program that collectively we have put together for everyone who is attending. In absentia, I would still like to acknowledge the VC, Prof. Mukhalong. Last year, for those who were part of the meeting, you may remember that there was particular emphasis put on the fact that we need our VCs to be more hands-on in this work. We need our VCs to not only necessarily say by banter that they support the work towards gender justice in higher education institutions, but we do really need to see some level of action that moves towards driving some form of change within our institutions. And I think your VC has done that quite well in this occasion. I would say generosity, but over and above generosity, I think what your VC has actually shown is a level of commitment that is necessary if indeed as a COP we will grow in our establishment and grow in our capacity to do the work that we need to do and be allowed that opportunity as well. One, through generosity, yes, but not in a fruitful way, but in a meaningful way as meetings such as this. Because I think that's really what is required if we are going to address issues of gender-based harm within higher education institutions. If you look at the polls report that just came out a couple of months back that speaks about the literacy levels of learners, up until grade 4 in the basic education system in South Africa, you'll come to see that our literacy levels have actually dropped. But we are in a position where, as a country, we are spending the most on education. We are spending, in some instances, more than countries that are even bigger than us, more than countries that are first world countries. Yet we are deteriorating in the quality of education that we are providing. That tells us that in actual fact, it is not money or resources that are in lack in addressing the issues and challenges within this country. We have a challenge of commitment. Not just commitment to dialogue, not just commitment to showing up at programs and events such as this, but a commitment to implementation after the plans have been made. And that is really where our lack lies. So I appreciate that level of commitment that the VC has done, and I continue to appreciate the level of commitment that exists within the COP, both in existing faces that we know very well over the past couple of meetings and the new faces that we are meeting, because really indeed it is not a special club of individuals in higher education institutions, but a gathering of practitioners who are committed in themselves wherever they exist on whichever campus to ensuring that they address issues of gender-based harm, that indeed they do the work that is necessary in order for us to really confront these factors that are feeding the persistence of the crisis that we face. Over the next 3 days, that is really and truly what I aspire to see take place. Not just commitments in terms of plans, not just engagements from a point of rhetoric, or just exercising the capacity of our verbal diarrhea, but actually giving meaningful engagements and fruitful inputs towards plans that really and truly will be accountable at our next conference for having implemented. That will not just be a talk shop, but indeed we will start even from the next session with the process of accountability and moving on with the next couple of days, looking at how indeed we are looking to address levels of harm within our campuses, as communities and regions, and however else we think strategically moving forward would be able to further amplify the work that we have done. So indeed we've done well. We've done well since our establishment. We've done well. We have grown. We do have representation of all universities at this point in time, which is something we didn't have. And we know more people from institutions than the ones we knew in the very beginning, which means indeed it really is becoming a network. It means indeed we are not only being silos in terms of institutions, but we are also not being silos in terms of the officers and the individuals who are doing work on our various campuses. And I think I'd like to congratulate all of us for that. Continue doing that work. Do not get tired. Do not get weary. Let's remain committed to the work of addressing gender-based harm in higher education institutions. And whenever you're tired, holler back, call a friend. There's someone else at another institution who probably has energy, some level of resources or ideas to share with you that will aid you in making this work. Thank you very much.